Вітаю, цей брифінг присвячений викриттю.
Greetings. This briefing is dedicated to exposing the propaganda of the aggressor state, which no longer hides in its statements of officials that the goal of the war is not the simple occupation of certain territories, but the destruction of Ukraine as a state, as well as the genocide of the Ukrainian people. We will start with a comment on the statement of the former president of Russia and now the deputy chairman of the Security Council of Russia, Medvedev, who in an interview with Russian journalists allowed himself several franknesses that directly indicate that the war is a genocide of Ukraine. So, Medvedev said in his statement, if we need to get to Kiev, then we need to go to Kiev. If to Lviv, then we need to go to Lviv in order to exterminate this infection. Russian propaganda sources quote Medvedev. What does this really mean? Russia tried to reach both Kiev and Lviv, but it all ended very sadly for its armed forces. And now with these verbal exercises, they are simply trying to intimidate both Ukraine and the European states that are helping Ukraine to stand up in order to stop the supply of weapons. But Medvedev's other statements clearly indicate that he does not recognize the right of Ukrainians to exist within the boundaries of a sovereign state. Ukraine is generally part of Russia, let's be honest, part of Russia, says the second official in the hierarchy of the Russian authorities. But due to geopolitical reasons and due to what happened, we put up with the fact that we live in different apartments for a long time, Medvedev said. That is, in this way, the official statements confirm what the Ukrainian authorities have been saying for a long time on all international platforms. The genocide of the Ukrainian people is the main part of this war. The destruction of not only military targets, but also the civilian population, the Ukrainians. Attention is also drawn to how painfully the Russian political authorities reacted to the warrant for Putin's arrest issued by the International Criminal Court. The same Medvedev began to threaten the NATO state, Germany, claiming that the rockets would fly to the Bundestag and the chancellor's office, as well as the building of the International Criminal Court in The Hague, if this state arrests Putin. Well, it is clear that these statements are just bravado and have nothing to do with reality, because both Germany and the Netherlands are members of NATO, protected by the NATO umbrella, and they are not threatened by any blow from Russia, unlike Ukraine. And this is a very good argument to remind these countries that Ukraine defends the entire civilized Europe from a state that has reverted to medieval traditions by attacking our territory. The Speaker of the State Duma, Volodin, also reacted interestingly, claiming that the judges who made the decision to arrest Putin were allegedly bribed. I quote, "It became known that the European Union paid the European Court that made the decision. This is corruption. This is direct bribery of judges. The issue needs to be sorted out. Moved from Brussels to Lefortovo. This is a prison on the territory of Russia." Of course, Volodin does not believe that there can be honest judges, and not those like in Russia, who make decisions solely based on political pressure of bribes. Well, it is interesting to watch how Russian propaganda is increasingly imitating the propaganda of Nazi Germany. In particular, right under the cameras in schools, children are taught to raise their hands in the Nazi salute and say the phrase, "I am Russian," in a loud chorus, following the worst examples of Goebbels' propaganda. And another example of lies, finally, which according to the Russians should show the suffering of Ukrainians at the hands of the Ukrainian authorities, in particular on the Russia Today and on the resource Ukraina.ru, there have been publications about what seems to be being sold in Kiev instead of bread. A certain bread product made from stale leftovers, unsold bread, a possible shortage of bread in Ukraine has been discussed since the beginning of the year. The Russian resource claims. This is a lie. As it turned out, even the internet portal of the bread factory which supposedly prepares such products is fake. And there is nothing on the real side about such bread products. There is no shortage of bread in Ukraine, and the only thing that has happened is a shortage of bread on international markets. And in Ukraine, measures have been taken to overcome it, and Ukrainian grain has arrived to the poorest countries in the world. And a traditional call not to believe the lies of Russian propagandists, to trust the Ukrainian authorities, and to watch, including abroad, the Ukrainian channel Freedom in English or Russian, as well as the Ukrainian telethon. These media report the truth about what is happening in Ukraine, unlike the propaganda resources of the aggressor state. See you!